If you are in the process of taking your Florida real estate salesperson licensing exam, then stay tuned to this video because I've got some major gems to give to you to hopefully help you ace your exam on the first try. If we haven't met yet, my name is Jada Brown and I make all things real estate. And if this is your first time watching, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm Jada Brown, and today I'm going to teach you about real estate. Passed the Florida real estate salesperson licensing exam on the very first try, and I wanted to come on here and provide some helpful tips to anyone out there who is in the process of getting their license. Do not give up, okay? That's the very first thing. We all know that the real estate industry is one where there is a lot of networking, but that networking does not have to happen after you get your license. It can happen before. So my first tip to you all would be to form a study group. Everyone in your course is interested in getting that real estate license. And obviously you live in the same location or you wouldn't be in that class together to begin with. So make a study group where you can either meet virtually via Zoom, in person at a local library or at your school's library if there is one, or you guys can just text each other when someone has a question. And I did that, and it was a great benefit to me because one of my classmates, her mother was a real estate broker in the area, and she just needed to get her license so that she can join her mother. And she already had a pretty extensive knowledge and understanding of these real estate terms that we were learning for the first. So the next thing I would strongly recommend is buying the textbooks. I don't know why people don't want to buy textbooks, but trust me, you need it. So here's the textbook that we use. Okay, 43rd edition when I took the exam. I don't know what edition we're on now, but it's the Florida Real Estate Principles, Practices, and Law. So here's the textbook, okay? The second thing that I would recommend is getting the exam manual. If it was not for this textbook, this manual right here, I would not have passed. And what it does is that it has practice questions in it that are similar to what's on the exam, but it also breaks down and condenses all of the information in the textbook in like a really easy to read and easy to remember format. So it was only, I think it was less than 20 books. Get this manual, guys. It's really helpful. And at the back of this manual, they had flashcards that you could cut out and you can flip through them. So what I did was before my exam, maybe 2 weeks before my exam, I got the flashcards, and if I knew the definition of them, I would put it in a pile. If I didn't understand the definition of the flashcard when I flipped it over, I would put it in another pile. So what I would do was I would put the pile that I knew to the side, and I would go through the pile that I didn't know, just like flipping it over and trying to remember what that definition was. And I would do this for a couple hours until the pile that I knew was increasing and the pile that I didn't know was like decreasing. And for the terms that I just could not get, then I would go back into the exam manual and I would study it, and I would try to really understand what it was that I did not know. Learn as much as you can. And what I mean by this is read books about real estate, listen to podcasts about real estate, watch YouTube videos about real estate. Like, just completely immerse yourself in real estate, because that's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to show if you're actually interested in being a real estate agent, because it's one thing for me to watch Selling Sunset or Selling Tampa and think that all realtors do is have fancy lunches and show all these $1 million houses. But it's another thing for me to actually see a day in the life of a realtor, have that knowledge of what they do by reading those books and say, okay, is this something that I really like? And the second thing that it's going to do is to provide you knowledge and practical understanding of the terminology that you're reading in your textbook. Okay, because it's one thing for me to understand the definitions and I can repeat them back to you verbatim, but do I really understand what an appraisal is? Do I really understand what inspections are? Do I understand contingencies? So if you're constantly like immersing yourself in those real estate terms, it's going to make all of the difference when you take that exam, because you're going to understand what those terms mean, and therefore you're going to ace that exam. And lastly, what I would recommend when trying to study for your exam is to find a job in the industry that you can work out without having necessarily that real estate license. So I made a whole video about it that I'm going to link right here, but one that I would recommend is becoming a leasing consultant. Leasing consultants typically work at large multifamily properties, and they are responsible for leasing those apartments. So you're getting used to showing apartments, you're getting used to conducting those tours, having the conversations with prospective residents, and you're able to throw out terms like leases and, you know, what addendums you would need. You also have to do a lot of fair housing training, which is the same as a real estate agent. So I would recommend working in the industry to see if you like it, because you never know. You can get out there and you can say, oh my God, I hate showing units. Well, that's a major part of your job as a real estate agent, and you're getting paid for it instead of working strictly commission. Leasing consultants typically have a base salary plus commission for whatever apartment that they do lease. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the video. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, you know the drill. Comment, like, and subscribe.